Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and today we are doing a reflecting video. So I like to sprinkle these in. They should be scheduled on my channel, but I always forget about this video. But basically what I do is I go back and I look at a quarter of last year and all the purchases that I made, and I am giving little reviews on it. What have I used up? What's still in my collection? What is a holy grail? How am I doing on these products? And this helps me stay accountable for the things being brought into my collection. So if you guys want to see, we're going to do quarter two. So that is April, May, and June of last year. If you guys want to see what came in my collection during that time, what I've used up, what I still have, and what are my thoughts, then stick around. We're going to get into it right now. All right, I went ahead, I put a little bit more gloss on my lips, and we are ready to go. You guys might see it, but I do have a boo-boo on one of my fingers, so I did put a Band-Aid on. So you guys will see a little bit of Band-Aid action going on in this video. But when I pulled my spreadsheet from last year and I looked at what came into my collection, I was really surprised. Number one, how little came in, especially because I felt like I was purchasing more last year, but I was surprised at how little came in, and also I'm very surprised with how much I've been able to use up. So let's go ahead and we will jump into, I had to make a little bit of noise, so I just cut that out because my microphone is like right above where all of my stuff sits, so you guys probably get a really good sound of me click-clacking around in my items. The first item that I did bring into my collection in April of last year is actually one of the Natasha Denona mini palettes. So I do have all of my minis depotted and in this Z palette, or this magnetic palette from Give Me Glow. And the one that I brought in is the My Mini Dream. So it's this row right here. And I do love this palette. I mean, I think it's a nice kind of neutral. I love it for the mattes because I think with a lot of other things, like I'll end up using a lot of the shimmers in here, but this is really staple mattes in this palette right here. You have a light, you have a mid, you have a dark, two shimmers. It's beautiful. So I did feel like this was a really good palette to round out this palette that I was making myself, and I think that it is a really good break between the color stories up here that lean a little bit more pink and green down to my actual like pink shades down here. It was a really good kind of transition for this palette that I was making for myself. So I did bring in the My Mini Dream, but also what I loved about it, and let me grab it from behind me, was that because of the packaging on the My Mini Dream, because it is this matte plastic that's a little bit more pliable, when I did depot my mini shades, I was actually able to salvage this palette. So I did drill holes into the back of it. I put some very thin magnetic sheets in there, and I effectively have been able to make myself my own 5-pan Natasha Denona that I can pull shades out of here and make into this palette. I did just do that in the last couple videos. I had my dupe of the mini gloom that I made myself. I was able to use that palette and use those shades and kind of like scratch the itch to where I don't need to buy the mini gloom myself, but it is because of the type of plastic that this matte plastic that this palette is made out of, I was able to actually salvage it and turn it into my own magnetic 5-pan. Again, I will say this time and time again because I have had a lot of new people find my channel. Do not depot your minis unless you are a very experienced depotter. I have a video where I filmed the whole thing. I actually do lots of words of warning in there about like, don't do this unless you absolutely know what you're doing. And also if you're really good at repressing, because a lot of times your mats will break as you're depotting them. So that is my word of caution with depotting your minis, and of course you guys can find that video on my channel as well if you want to see the entire process. But Rolling into the next item that I purchased, and this was actually in the same purchase at the beginning of April of last year, and that is my Fenty Beauty Eavesdrop Skin Tint. I do have it in the shade 2, and this is currently in my deck of panning. It was in my deck of panning for the majority of last year as well, and then I'm trying to finish it up. At my last update for my deck of panning, I was right there where that bottom line is, so about halfway. And I do use this skin tint every single day, but I mix it in with my other foundations. So this product on its own, I'm not the biggest fan of. I would not go back to this. I would not purchase this again. But being able to mix this in and kind of sheer out my other more high coverage items, I like it for that. But for me personally, and the way that I like to do my makeup, the way that I like my makeup to feel throughout the day, this is not something that would work on me. A little kind of tidbit, I am almost 41 years old. It's creeping up on me next month, but I'm almost 41. I have oily skin. I live in a hot and humid climate in Florida, so I need my makeup to, number one, hold up against my oils, but also hold up against the heat, and this does not. In my opinion, I know a lot of people with oily skin love this. I know that a lot of times Fenty formulates their stuff for oily skin people, but this one for me breaks up like crazy. So it's not my favorite on its own. But we are finishing that because if it came in my collection, unless it is absolutely horrid and I cannot use it, I'm going to find a way to make it work, and I'm going to find a way to use my products. So that one is continuing to be used in my deck of panning for and in it for the long haul, and we will see if I can make another new mark next month on this one. But it's feeling very light in there, so that is very encouraging that I'll have another foundation empty by the end of the year. The next item that I purchased was the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter in Light. I have since finished that. I did pan that by the end of the year last year, and right now I'm using the Say Super Glowy Gel, Say Glow Super Gel, whichever way that it is. I'm using the Say product right now, which I do really enjoy. I would go back to the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter, but right now I'm really enjoying the Say product as being my, what is my shirt doing? As being my glowy product that I mix in with my foundations every single day, and that's pretty much how I used it. But that product was used up completely. Then we got one of my lip products. So this is the Romand Glasting Lip Tint, and this is in Rose Splash. I did just have this rolled into my Project 10 uses, so I did get 10 uses out of this, and this is kind of my other dipping the toe into lip stains that kind of made me love lip stains. I ended up panning a lip stain from e.l.f. last year, and then I picked up this one because Lauren May from Lauren May Beauty, she did a whole video on K-beauty lip stains, and so I did make an order off of YesStyle, and I got this one, and it is lovely. It is beautiful. I have moved on to get a few other lip stains from the Sephora collection, which also are very, very close to this. So if you don't want to order from Amazon, or if you don't want to order from YesStyle, the lip stains from Sephora are very close. And then I did also get one of the lip stains from e.l.f., but this was kind of like my confirmation that yes, I am loving lip stains. So that is also really, really nice. Then the next couple items in here, actually the next 4 items in here, were also in my YesStyle order, but I was able to use those up completely. So I did get the Romand Han All Fix Mascara in Long Hazel. It was a beautiful, brownie hazel mascara. I would go back to that one, and I am thinking about repurchasing that one. That mascara stays on through everything. If we're gonna live through an apocalypse, that mascara will still be on your lashes, and it will not smudge and it will not flake. So I'm actually thinking about going back to that one. I should have gone back to that one during the summer because I do have a lot of issues with smudging and flaking of my mascara. I end up getting my mascara will get up onto my brow bone and it looks just like black smudges up there. Not pretty, not fun, kind of look like the matchmaker from Mulan once she gets splashed with the tea, so that's not the look that I'm typically going for, but this one was really, really great. And there was a dog hair on my face, but that is the story of my life. Now we had is it the Anua? The Heartleaf Pore Control Cleansing Oil. I went through this one. It's not my favorite. The smell was kind of too spa-like for me. I don't really like the herbal spa smell. It's just not for me. So the smell was a little but also I don't understand the pore control other than it actually like cleaning your face and cleaning your pores out. Maybe that's what they meant, but as far as doing anything for your pores, not really. And so I have moved on to a different cleansing oil that actually I can get for cheaper. You can actually get it cheaper, brand new on Amazon than what I find it for at TJ Maxx. So that is one of the cleansing oils that I went through from my Yes Style order. Then I had a Romand Lasting Melting Balm in Kaya Fig. I went through that one earlier this year, so that was just not even a tint. It was a little bit of a tinted lip balm, but I wanted it to be a tinted, like staining lip balm, and it was not. So I did use that up just as like a lip treatment lip balm product. And then I ended up getting one of the Innisfree No Sebum AC powders, which they're small, but they're mighty. And it's a white powder that if you put that on your face, it will suck every speck of oil off of your face. So that was actually really good for me to use last year during summertime. They're very blurring, but they're very dry looking. So like if you have dry skin, probably stay away because that powder will just suck all of the oil out of your face and keep you matte. But that was everything from my Yes Style order. And so out of my Yes Style order, which I ended up getting, 5 things, I've used up 4 of them. So that feels really, really good. The next purchase in April of last year was the Basic Witch palette from Bella Beauté Bar. I had waited for this one to come back in stock, and when it did, I snatched this thing up. It is gorgeous. I love the greens, I love the purples, I love the pinks. Like this is my favorite kind of color story, and especially for the spooky season or the fall season, I am going to love pulling this back out. I am doing a No Pan Left Behind series on my channel. I've been doing that for the past 2 years now, 3 years maybe, but that one does go up on the 25th, and right now I am down to my palettes where I am like reserving certain palettes for seasonal wear. So this one we will definitely see roll into like late September, early October. We will roll this one in so that I can get some amazing looks for October and the Halloween season. But Bella Beauté Bar formula, gorgeous. Shimmer's gorgeous, matte's gorgeous. I have no complaints about this. I just haven't been impressed with some of their color stories recently, and also they've been making bigger palettes, which again is not what I want. I want to be able to store my palettes in the areas of my room that I have, and the bigger palettes I feel like I would need to kind of like accommodate for the space they would take up, and I don't want to do that. Even though I think their Secret Garden palette really called to me, but it's big. If they had a Secret Garden palette, if they condensed it into a 15 pan, I would have been all over it. But their formula is beautiful. They're also a woman-owned Florida brand, so I love supporting someone local, even though they live or where their headquarters is located is probably like 9 hours from me, but still it's Florida. So if you want to know some of like the biggest states to get through, like Florida is big because we're in an L shape, and then also just Texas is huge. But I did get the Bella Beauté Bar Basic Witch palette. Then the last purchase that I made in April was actually my Estee Lauder Double Wear. I found this at TJ Maxx on clearance for $5. $10? No, $10. And I loved that foundation. I would go back to that foundation in a heartbeat. I did finish that foundation earlier this year. I think that was my first foundation empty of 2025. So I am happy to say that I did finish that foundation. So if I'm looking at all of my purchases for April, let me count. And let me actually correct myself because I think that I had this wrong. So The e.l.f. Halo Glow that I said earlier on that I used up, that was the powder. That was not the liquid glow filter. Now I have panned the liquid glow filter, but this is the powder. So this is the Halo Glow powder in light. And so that one, again, I already used it up, so it's gone. But that was a powder, that was not the glow filter. So just correcting myself with that one. But my opinions of the liquid glow still stand. I do love this powder for mixing in with my Nakia Joy Velvet Finishing Powder. I actually saw a comment from one of you guys about mixing some powders together and how you love the result. And so this is the way that I have found that my makeup wears the best, looks the best, is by mixing different products and making a product that works well for me while also not breaking the bank while doing it. So out of the 10 purchases that I made last April, 2 of them were palettes. 2 of them I still have in my collection with the lip stain and the skin tint. The other 6 I have used. So that actually, like, the ratio to what I'm using, what's still in my collection, and palettes are never going to get completed, so I kind of like, palettes are palettes, they're coming into my collection, but the fact that I used up 6 out of the 8 other products is amazing. And that's why I love doing this tracking. That's why I love coming back and doing these videos, because it's keeping me accountable. And at the end of the year, I want to be able to look back at the spreadsheet and see that so many things have been checked off as being used up. Now, the month of May was not as productive, but that's mainly because I do have some other eyeshadow things in there and some beauty tools that, of course, I'm not going to necessarily use up. So actually, let me roll into that. And the first item that I did pick up in May was the Palmer's Coconut Oil hair oil. Now, this is the hair and scalp oil. So this is too heavy for me to use as an actual hair oil, but I do like using this as a hair treatment. I've only used it down to there, so I don't use and I think this comes down to me being lazy, is that I don't want to necessarily soak my hair in this and then wait a couple hours and then wash my hair. Usually if I'm washing my hair, it's late at night, it is my hair washing day, and I just want to get in the shower, I just want to wash my hair, and I want to go to bed. That is how I'm feeling. I think I do need to maybe put this in my shower or put this up on my vanity so I remember that I have it, so that if I know that it's hair washing night, maybe I can pop this in my hair before I make dinner. I can clip my hair up, it can kind of set, and then I will wash my hair after dinner. So I want to be more mindful of that. But I did bring in the Palmer's Coconut Hair Oil. But again, this is too heavy for my texture of hair. But let's look at the next item that I picked up is a beauty tool, and it's actually my palette. So this is the Give Me Glow Candy Cane Glitter Palette. I did end up using this one, like I said, for my minis, and this palette here came into my collection last year. I love the Give Me Glow palettes. I think they're such great quality. I know they had a bunch of stuff on sale recently, and I wanted to see them come out with more patterns, but also truthfully, I don't need any more palettes. I don't. Do I want them? Because I feel like it's almost kind of like when you have your own style and you I want to stylize my palettes. That's how I feel about it. But I know I don't need them. But I did pick up that palette, and then I did pick up 2 shadows from Give Me Glow, and I just popped them out. So all of the shadows that are in here are from my purple single palette, so I pulled them out so I can show you. But these 2 top ones up here, these ones are from Give Me Glow, and it's Glass Slipper and Rose Quartz. So I wanted these 2 for my purple palette, and let me do this not on my Band-Aid finger. And again, I apologize for the Band-Aid finger, but it can't be helped. So those are the 2 shades right there. Of course, the matte and the shimmer. The shades from Give Me Glow are just so, so pretty. And I think with Glass Slipper, I was looking for, oh, just look at that. And just the matte. The matte actually has pigment, but it's smooth. Beautiful. I'm going to need to get my little towel. because I don't want to wipe this on my shorts because I actually do want to wear my shorts today and not have them covered in makeup. But absolutely stunning. Of course, with Glass Slipper, this was when I was on my hunt for my dupe of Earthshine from ColourPop. And I knew Glass Slipper was going to be more blue, but it didn't look this blue on the website. So it is still a beautiful shade and I love wearing it. It just, for those people looking at it on the website, it is bluer than you think. But I did pick up those two shadows from Give Me Glow during that purchase. Then I had another purchase. This looks like a purchase from Ulta just because of the products that are in here, and it was all one purchase. So I did pick up the CoverGirl Yummy Gloss in Sunrise Blush. That one I ended up using up, and it wasn't my favorite formula. I know a lot of people like rave about the Yummy Lip Gloss formula. It kind of had the ingredient that makes the back of my throat scratchy, and I didn't think that it lasted long enough to like get the hype that it gets. So that one I have not gone back and repurchased any of the Yummy Glosses. I also picked up the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Lip Reviver Oil from e.l.f. This was the one where they came out last year with the Watermelon Reviver Lip Gloss. That one, which I do need to probably reapply. I'm using the Fresh Kiss glossy lip balm from ColourPop, and this one is in watermelon, and this one is gorgeous. But this watermelon from e.l.f., which they discontinued this one, they kind of come back out with the watermelon stuff during the summertime. But that one smelled and tasted like plastic watermelon. So if you are from my generation, remember when they had like the plastic like pull floaties or things like that, but they would like integrate scent into the plastic so that it kind of gave that experience. And like, just if you know the smell of a pull floaty, mix that with artificial watermelon. That's what the Jelly Pop Glow Reviver smells like. And it's disappointing because I know that e.l.f. knows how to do a good watermelon scent. I just don't understand how that watermelon scent got approved. And maybe they're like, oh, the plastic smell is reminiscent of summer. But who wants to put a plastic watermelon floaty on their lips and smell it all day long? Not me. So I did end up mixing that, I believe, with something else that was more watermelon. Oh, I just kicked my tripod. I'm sorry. I did end up mixing that with something and just kind of powered through that. But also the Lip Reviver oil is not my favorite lip oil formula, and I don't like the regular one because it has the mint. And again, I was like, I just don't care for those lip oils. Actually, I don't really care for lip oils at all. So that is not something that I would go back to, but I did finish it. Another item from May that I have not finished yet, and that is my Differin Gel. And I picked this up at Ulta instead of Walmart because they had it on sale, and so it actually ended up being cheaper at Ulta. And so I'm down to here. This is the second one that I've gone through, or the second one that I'm using. Now, I have gotten back onto the retinol, like train, or like getting it back into my routine. So I feel like I'll be able to finish this up really quickly. This is not strong enough for me. And again, I keep saying I need to go back to my dermatologist. I just have not made an appointment. And so I think whenever I go back and see my dermatologist, I want to ask for an actual retinol, especially being 41 next month. I do want something a little bit stronger that helps a little bit more with that collagen turnover. Because I know like a lot of people will say that the drinkable collagen like works, but I think the science says that drinking collagen might have some benefits, but it's not going to do the same benefits for your skin that you think. Like your body has to turn over its own collagen. And I know that retinol helps with that. So I am trying. And also, bless it, when I'm editing my videos and I turn to the side and I see my jowls, because I lost the weight, I lose weight everywhere. And usually whenever I lose weight in my face first. So my cheekbones are a whole lot more pronounced, but that also means that my jowls, I lost a lot of weight in here. So I'm like, oh my God, collagen, do your thing. Do your thing. Get those jowls out of here. So I am trying to kind of help my skin with that turnover by reintroducing some collagen, or no, some retinol into my routine. So this is all part of it. This is adaptoline gel, and so this is, it says an acne treatment, but also my acne did clear up with my medicine. So I think I got away from a lot of my actives because I was like, oh, my skin is clear, because I was continuously fighting acne. I wasn't necessarily fighting like anti-aging or collagen or wrinkles. I was fighting acne for my entire life. So this past year, when I haven't had to fight acne, I kind of dropped off with my actives. So I do want to get back into using this. We will probably see this as an empty in the upcoming months because it will not take me long at all to work myself through the different gel. And then the last two items that I picked up are from The Ordinary. It's the niacinamide solution and the caffeine solution. Those I mix into my daytime serums. And so those definitely got used up because it usually takes me about 6 months to use those up. I don't repurchase those until I'm getting really low. So that one definitely, those two were empties already last year. So if I look at my purchases for last May, I made 9 purchases. One of them was a beauty tool, which was the palette. 2 of them were single eyeshadows, which again, those are not going to get used up. But out of the rest of them, I used up 4, and I only have 2 other items, the hair oil and the different gel. These are the only 2 like usable items from May of last year that I have not completed. So again, the numbers, I feel really good about the numbers that there's only 2 items in my bathroom that have not been used to completion. I'll try to be a little bit more mindful about the hair oil, and then of course I will work myself through the different gel. Now I did have a few more purchases in June, so let me organize my stuff and we will get into those. So at the beginning of the month in June of last year, the Golden palette came out. So this is the Natasha Denona Golden palette, and this is our inside right here. And so I did pick this up from the Natasha Denona website. And at the same time that I picked up the Golden palette, I also did pick up another mini, and that was the mini Metropolis, which is this row right here with that green in the middle. So again, I love this. I do have the Metropolis palette, like the full palette, and so getting the mini was kind of a no-brainer because I love those greens and those golds. And again, I felt like this was a really good palette to round out this. When I was buying these minis, it was with the mindset that I was depotting everything and that I was making this palette. So when I was actually selecting what minis I was going to buy, I went into Canva and I actually like copied and pasted the color stories in that format that I have them in my palette, and I kind of like swapped different ones in to see what color story I wanted. And so Metropolis kind of filled a hole with those golds, and when I said filled a hole, I said that's what she said in my brain, but you guys know. But that palette kind of completed the color story that I was looking for. So I do love that. And I have another dog hair stuck in my lip gloss. My life. But going back to the Golden palette, I love this one. It is beautiful. We do have one cream to powder in here, which is this one up here. And these cream to powders, they always go on your eyes lighter than they are. And I feel like with that one being so similar to this shade down here, it is nice to have a little bit of a lighter shade with that cream to powder, but I do feel like we are missing the midtones. I think whenever I reviewed this palette in the first place, these 3 mattes, they blend out to be about the same color. Like you don't see a whole lot of difference with those 3 mattes. So I feel like we are missing a little bit in our midtones, and they could have done that with the cream to powder, but obviously Natasha Denona knows better than me, and I buy her products, so I guess I'm the sucker. But we did buy those 2 palettes at the beginning of last June. And then the next item that I purchased, and again, freaking dog hair. We are living in it right now, and we've even brushed the dogs, we vacuumed the dogs, we blow the dogs out. Like, We are living in dog hair right now. So if anybody else out there has German Shepherds and you kind of live in the more hot areas, you know they're blowing their coats like nobody's business right now. But my next purchases were from Sephora, and so I did pick up the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm in iced coffee. I did end up using that one up last month, and that one was in my 25 and 2025, so you guys saw me use that one. That one I would absolutely 100% repurchase again, and probably during the Sephora sale coming up. So usually the VIB sale is also in my birthday month, so I get money off plus 2 times points. So I usually try to pick up the things that I want during my birthday month and during that time, but I would definitely 1000% go back to that one and repurchase. Then I did pick up one of these Sephora glosses, and this is in Dangerous, so it's just a red gloss. This one's also in my 25 and 2025, but obviously I've not been using it. I've been reaching for my lip stains a whole lot more than my lip glosses, but I do love this formula. I think it is so, so good. I did go through another Sephora gloss last year in more of a pinky shade, and it's not that I'm not wearing this because it's red, because I actually love a red gloss. That is why I got this one, but it's just, I think I wear this more during the winter time, and last year I was trying to pan other things, so I didn't focus on this one, but definitely when the weather starts cooling down a little bit, I will be reaching for this gloss a whole lot more, but I do love that formula. Now, I did get a sample of the Say Glowy Super Gel. Apparently I can read it if it's here, but I can't remember it when it's in my brain. But that was my first introduction to try it out to see if I liked it. It was just a 5 ml kind of sample. So I did use that up, and that is why I repurchased the full size. And then I had a Tower 28 Shine On Lip Jelly in Pistachio. I had here that I decluttered it, but that is not right because I decluttered something else further down the line, but it wasn't this one. It was the Kaja one from the birthday set. That's the one that was horrible. This one, the Tower 28 Shine On Lip Jelly and Pistachio, was again beautiful, but I feel like this is very similar, so I don't feel like buying the one from Tower 28 is worth it if there is something cheaper that goes 30% off at least 3 times a year. So we have that I used up. And then I made some purchases from TJ Maxx or Marshalls. And I ended up picking up a few of my, let me wipe this off because it's kind of fingerprinty. But this is the Clinique Take the Day Off Balm. And that's my little, see, Marshall sticker. And I love this. This is my favorite cleansing balm. I have cleansing oils that are in my shower, but the cleansing balms are also what sits by my tub. Because bless it, my husband is a bath person, and so we pretty much take a bath every night unless it's hair washing night. Then I'm taking a shower. So I am a bath person. So I'm in the bath 5 times a week and in the shower twice a week, unless we're showering like after yard work or something like that. So this does sit by my bathtub, and so this is how I take off my makeup every single night, is with this one. I did purchase 2 of these at the time, and so I only have this one left because I have gone through the other one. So this is the one that I'm currently using, and I'm making my way through that. So I've already dug into this one. So these are my favorite. I love finding them at Marshall's, but also I am loving the cleansing oil that I'm using right now. So I don't know if I would go back to these because this packaging is a whole lot harder to recycle than the like cleansing oil packagings. So I will have to think about that. Also, my cleansing oil is cheaper than even the discounted take off the day bombs. Take the day off. Yeah, bombs. Too many words. And then I picked up 2 other skincare items during that same trip. I got the Biossance Squalene Plus Probiotic Gel Moisturizer. I love these squalene products from Biossance. I went through that one last year. And then I also picked up the Innisfree Youth Enriched Serum. I went through that one last year as well as a daytime serum. So enjoy both of those. I love Innisfree products, so usually whenever I see them at TJ Maxx, I'll pick them up because I know my skin will love them. And then the last purchases of June are my other 2 shades that were in this palette, and these 2 down here. These were from Terra Moon, and I got Rosette Yes, they're in the right order. So Rosette and Haley's Comet. Again, I was looking for dupes of the Earthshine, and Rosette comes really, really close. But let me do some swatches of these. Now, these are more like topper glitter shades, whereas the one from Give Me Glow has a lot more pigment to it, or base pigment. These are more just that iridescent topper. So we do have Rosette on this side and Haley's Comet on this side. So Haley Comet is the more pink one, but they are both beautiful, beautiful shades. I love putting these on the lid because it just adds that sparkle and that interest. And actually, on this look that I have today, I probably could take some of Haley's Comet and dab it over and it would just sparkle even more. But I was using the last 4 shades from my Italian Spritz palette, and so that is what this blue and pink look is doing today. But that was the last of the items that I purchased last June. Let me count. So I did purchase 12 items, so that is the most items out of the 3 months that I've purchased. Now, of course, 2 of those were palettes, so Golden and Metropolis, and then 2 of them were single shades, which was Rosette and Haley's Comet. So those 4 are not necessarily ones that I'm ever going to go through, but out of the rest of the products, the only 2 that I have still going from June of last year is the lip gloss and the cleansing balm. Again, I'm not stuck, but I'm to the point where I have 2 items left out of the things that I purchased last year, which feels really good because we had 2 for April. We had, let me set these down so I don't drop them. We had 2 for May, and we have 2 for June. So out of everything that I purchased, aside from eyeshadows, because again, I'm never going to go through my eyeshadows. I've just accepted that. But out of everything that I purchased, I only have 6 items left in my collection. That feels good. And then this will be gone by the end of the year because I'm actively using this. This will be gone by the end of the year, actively using this. This will be gone because I'm going to start actively using this. So the 3 things that might roll over into the next year are the hair oil and the 2 lip products. Again, I feel really good about this. This is why I track. This is why I go back to my previous years and look at what I've used up, what is still hanging around, what is eyeshadow, what is tools, what is all, like, this is why I want to track, because this foundation is only a year and a couple months old in my collection. That is a stark difference to back in the day when I had 15 foundations in my collection, and God knows when the last time I used them. So that's where I feel really, really good about where my numbers are. I just did my inventory and I posted that up for you guys. So you guys have seen the numbers and how they've changed and how the products have changed, that a lot of my categories are actually like rotating. So this makes me feel so good that I'm actually getting use out of the things that I'm buying. Now, I think I already started like looking at the next like round whenever we get into quarter 3, and there's a lot more things in here that are not getting used, or they're not getting done yet because of course I was using up older things before I got to them. So this helps me also stay in perspective, that especially when like Black Friday comes around, when September rolls around and the VIB sale is here, like this makes me a little bit more mindful that like I might not need to buy the amount during those sales that I have in previous years because I still am using the things from last year. So I'm going to have to be very mindful, and I think I'll talk about this a little bit more in my buys and buys, just because that's where we look at my beauty budget and what is coming in and what's going out. And of course, I told you guys also I'll talk to you about my fragrances because my budget changed a little bit because of that as well. But we will definitely talk about that more in my buys and buys, but I'm obviously looking at the same spreadsheet that I use for my buys and buys. So I wanted to kind of reflect on what last year looks like and what this year might need to look like. So I am very excited about continuing to roll with this and being more mindful about my products and what I'm using. So, but right now, sitting at looking at Q2 of last year, I feel really good about the 6 items that's left. And I don't want to say to myself that it could be worse because again, I feel like that's a really not dangerous. I'll use the word dangerous, but that is a mindset that can actually cause us to dip back into problematic behavior because, oh, it could be worse. But also, I don't need to go back into that behavior of buying. So I am very curious about where this will look like kind of at the end of the year with the other quarters, with my continued purchasing throughout the year. But I'm feeling really good about it now. And that's why I love these videos. And that's why I will encourage you guys, if you have an inventory, if you guys track stuff, kind of look back in your like tracking and see what you bought last year, what's been used up, what are you currently using, what's just sitting and maybe needs your attention, because this is how we stay mindful with actual facts. Because if you would have asked me, if you would have gone in my bathroom with me and you would have asked me, when did you buy this hair oil? I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I could be like, oh, a few months ago. It's not old. Don't worry about it. A few months ago, I bought this. No, I bought this over a year ago. So this keeps me mindful that I need to get a little bit more work on this hair oil kind of in the front of my mind. So if you guys find these kind of videos helpful, not only for the reviews on things that I've actually used, like used up to completion, things that I've been using for the past year. I'm glad that this video kind of is that spark for you guys, but also if this helps you stay mindful and makes you kind of go back and reflect on your own purchasing, your own collection, your own stuff from last year, I think that is an even better takeaway from this video. But I'm gonna go ahead and go because I need to edit this and upload it tomorrow for you guys. And then, like I said, we will go ahead and we'll have my buys and buys. I have a big old bin. I'm looking at my tub over there. It is full. And then we'll talk about my fragrances as well. No puppy dogs today. They are all snoozing because they were just running around outside before I sat down to film. But otherwise, I do appreciate you guys for being here. I'm going to encourage you guys to do all of the YouTube things and hit a thumbs up on this video if you enjoy my content. If you are new or lurking, which I think my inventory video got a lot of new people in here, so if you're new, welcome. But if you are just lurking out there, consider hitting that subscribe button. It's free for you, but of course it helps me. I have a goal to hit 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year, not for any like purposes, but just to be like, yay, we did it type of thing. But I do project panning, conscious consumerism, beauty budgets, eyeshadow puppy dogs, psychobabble chats. So if that sounds interesting to you, hit that subscribe button. Let's see what else. Oh, I want to do another kind of chatty get ready with me. So if you guys have any questions, any topics that you guys want to hear from me, drop them down below. Drop me a comment down below about anything else. Let's see. If you are tracking, how did you do with your like usage of your products from last year? Also, when you look at your products from last year, is there anything that you regret buying? When I'm looking at the things in front of me, I don't regret buying any of these things, which also is a really good feeling because prior years I had some regrets, but not right now. So if you guys have any regrets, if you have any wins, if you have any like successes, tell me how you guys did last year with your purchasing and with using up your products. But otherwise, I'm going to go because I got some editing to do. But I do appreciate you guys so, so much for being here, spending your time with me. I hope that you guys all have a beautiful day, and I'm going to catch you in my next one.